Good evening and welcome to the Evolution of R&B Music, Volume 1 podcast show being brought to you by yours truly, Charelle Fortier. And on panel with me this evening, I have Andrae Brooks.
Hello.
Yeah, so what we want to do real quick is just give brief background on myself as well as Andrae, just to, let you guys know that we are passionate about this topic. So I'm going to let Andrae start. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrae Brooks. I'm an avid fan of R&B. Been enjoying the music since I was a little child. Man, let's put it this way. I graduated high school in 1994. So I kind of got a good ear for it, and I have a nice collection. Also, I work with the music director at my church, and I think I got a good ear and a good passion for the genre.
That's awesome. And as for me, I am I won't say former singer. I still sing, but I'm a singer-songwriter studying music business at Full Sail University, hoping to launch my own record label and bring back some of that R&B music that we're missing with real vocals, real lyrics, real musicianship, just making folks feel love again, So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump right on into it. We have 5 really good questions here that we want to touch on. And question 1 is the current state of R&B more of a reflection of society, or is it influencing society? Andrae, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think as society is, the music is, and as the music is, it perpetuates the result of what society is. It just basically enhances the atmosphere society is creating. So if, as it seems right now, we have a heartless society where there really isn't much love or sentiment in the air, and it's all about instant gratification.
I agree. It is doing both. A reflection of what's going on as well as influencing the society, because now the most popular music is the most misogynist. They don't talk about, monogamy. That's old school, being in a committed relationship. Don't nobody know what that means anymore. And the music reflects that because it's all about, doing something real quick, getting with somebody real quick, make you feel good, and then, okay, on to the next one. So I do agree that it is double-sided. Now, why does the industry believe there is no longer an audience for real R&B? And just real quick, let me give my definition of real R&B. Real R&B to me is a real vocalist, no effects, a real musician, can play unplugged, and lyrics that evoke emotion, love, and just making you feel good. That's real R&B to me. So, Andrae, why do you think the industry believes there's no longer an audience for it?
Well, I think it's perpetual. I think it's basically record sales. Everywhere else you see that there's an audience, but they try to justify the lack of record sales, which is in every genre, it seems.
Right.
But for some reason, they specify that R&B is there's just no one there buying it. No matter how good the record is, no one will buy it. Mm-hmm. That's the argument. But I think it's really more so because they just look at a certain demographic. Like for us growing up, Jodeci was our thing. Mm-hmm. We were teenagers, turning in the 20s during that time when they came out. It was hot. Now they want that same audience to like Jodeci, who's 40.
Right.
So
which is a mistake.
Yeah, so they basically say R&B aged out, which is crazy.
Right. And that's absolutely untrue because you have R&B artists right now like Charlie Wilson, and he was doing his thing with the Gap Band back in the 70s. So, he's been around a long time. But you have him, you have Anthony Hamilton, you have Brandy, you have Escape that came back after being broke up for so long. They're all touring, selling out tours, which to me is clear evidence that there is an audience for real R&B. Now, granted, there aren't a lot of new R&B artists breaking into the scene, and that is because the industry thinks there's no audience for them. But these shows selling out is proof positive that there is an audience for real R&B. Mm-hmm. Now, I know in like what was that, like in the 90s, like 93, maybe even 1990, when Sean Diddy Combs came out with a Bad Boy, and he introduced Mary J. Blige. Now she was the first one to really merge the whole hip hop R&B thing. That's why she's the queen of R&B soul. Even though she's more soulful now than she was when she got that moniker, but that's another discussion.
Right.
So why do you think that the hip hop has merged so far into R&B that it's kind of overshadowing what we know as R&B today?
Well, I think it's those that have the power that truly don't understand the culture of hip hop and R&B, and just think that since it's a certain type of people singing it, it's all one thing or performing it. Like you said, Mary J. Blige merged the two, but it had a distinct difference. Just because the sound was updated doesn't mean the song, the type of lyrics, and the singer that sung it was different.
Right. Absolutely.
For Teddy Riley had the New Jack Swing era. All he did was just update the sound, and it worked well for Michael Jackson. He still was Michael Jackson.
Right.
And now that the people that are controlling that music aren't a part of that culture, I think that's the only reason they did it, because it's a matter of convenience for them. So,
yeah, I can agree with that. Because I've always been told that it's cheaper to produce rap and hip hop than it is R&B. And of course, knowing real R&B, that does make sense, because when you're dealing with hip hop and rap, you're dealing with beats. But when you're dealing with R&B, you're dealing with music, melody, instrumentation, all of that kind of stuff. And it's a whole different playground. And unfortunately, in today's style of R&B, it's totally being missed. Now, here's another question. So we have R&B artist Tank, who can sing his face off. He's made the statement that he's competing with rap artists like Migos and Meek Mill. And so he's saying that his sound has to be the same level as those kind of artists. Do you agree or disagree with that statement?
If he's trying to make money, I agree. Because at the end of the day, and I say money in the aspect of billboards, fame. I don't want to say money. Let's say fame.
Okay.
Let's say fame, because that's what he's shooting for, is fame. Because you can make money doing your R&B thing.
Right.
I just think, to be honest, which I read his post that he had after the Stronger album, and I actually replied to him too. I said, your Stronger album actually sucked. But,
Oh.
I bought every album he had. That album sucked. I'm a fan,
Okay, yeah.
But I guess he wants to remain relevant in that field. I think that's what it basically boiled down to. Keep his name up there with the Chris Browns and the Rihannas and stuff like that. Because he'll never beat on Migos and Meek Mill, because he's not them.
Right.
And plus, he's 41.
Yeah, he's a grown man comparing himself to these 20-something-year-olds, which I think is a fatal mistake that a lot of artists do. And it's funny because Musiq Soulchild, now, I love music, okay? I've purchased all of his albums. I think I'm missing 2. But he made the statement. He was trying to come out and be a rapper. I forgot what his little name was, but he made the exact same statement that people are not buying R&B music. So in order for me to make music, I got to do what's popular. And see, I feel like that's a reflection of the lack of true artistry in these quote unquote R&B artists. And I say quote unquote because if you were true to your art form is going to make way for you to make a living off of it.
Right.
If you keep conforming to what everybody else is doing, eventually you lose your main fan base, which are the ones that's going to ride with you each and every time you come out, every time you do a show, every time you make an appearance, every time you release something. That's who's going to go for you. But you're chasing after people who are looking at you like, dog, what are you singing about? I don't know nothing about what you're singing about. And I think that's a fatal mistake of R&B artists, is to try and conform to what's popular instead of being true to their art. which is a play on the name of my record label. But anyway.
Good plug.
So our final question is in regard to Johnny Gill's last released album, which he actually funded himself, called Game Changer, which I actually kind of liked. I liked that song, and he had another little song that he had out. I really thought it was good. Now, do you believe that R&B can regain its traction in major music markets? Now, I'm going to answer this one for me. And I feel that it can. The only way that it can is it's not going to be the way that we've done it before, because we don't have Video Soul no more. We don't have Midnight Love. We don't have those shows dedicated to R&B music videos. And really and truly, at the rate things are going now, you can create your own music video, using your iPhone. So, but I feel like as long as R&B artists remain true to the art of R&B and stay true to what that genre really represents, I think with that following, they'll start seeing that, you know what, people are still buying this stuff. Now, we're not buying vinyl. We're not necessarily buying CDs as much anymore. Yeah, it's downloads, but digital downloads count just as much as a CD does. And I think that's the biggest misconception. People feel like, R&B music is old. It's not old, but it's the music that's going to help keep you going. But the only way R&B can regain its traction if it returns to its roots. That's what I feel.